An Israeli newspaper, today the U.S. administration begins discussing the annexation issue with the Netanyahu government. June 28, 2020. The Israel Hume newspaper said that the U.S. peace team, led by Special Envoy Avi Berkovic, will start a series of contacts with senior Israeli officials on Sunday to study the possibilities of implementing the path of annexing the West Bank and the Jordan Valley. On Friday, members of the American administration arrived in Israel with the American ambassador to Israel, David Friedman, to continue last week's discussions at the White House, in which the administration's unwillingness to halt the step President Trump committed to when the peace plan was launched 6 months ago. The Israeli and American sides are examining different paths, starting with the possibility of applying full sovereignty by 30% once, or dividing it into several times. In addition, there is controversy over the Jordan Valley, the annexation of which is the subject of an Israeli consensus, but the Kingdom of Jordan is sensitive about it, and a proposal another is about the imposition of sovereignty specifically in the internal settlements, while some believe that the settlement blocks around which a national consensus prevails should begin. The newspaper pointed out that the Washington-based Jewish National Security Institute, JNSA, published a position paper this weekend calling for the implementation of Israeli sovereignty in the Jordan Valley. Institute experts believe that, despite the tensions that the move will cause in the short term, turning the valley into Israeli land will enhance American national security in the long run. The Institute wrote, "Israeli sovereignty in the Jordan Valley will be security borders that can be protected, far more than the 1967 lines." Michael Makovsky, head of the Jewish Institute for National Security, told Israel Hume that he understood Jordan's concerns about Israeli sovereignty in the valley, but that an opportunity had been created that must be exploited, and that it is beneficial to Jordan as well. A former Israeli official, Netanyahu is corrupt and Gantz sips cleaning supplies. Former Israeli Chief of Staff Danny Halutz followed the plan to annex Israel to parts of the West Bank, and said, "I think the annexation step is a gimmick, led by a president who sits cleaning supplies and a prime minister accused of criminal offenses." Halutz added, according to what Channel 12 reported, that whoever looks at the long term, he must think about the interest of Israel, that we be in a strong Jewish state and a democratic and just state. This will not be guaranteed to us by the annexation process. If we do not separate from the Palestinians, then we will have to absorbing them inside us as citizens, and then they will achieve their goal. Halutz said, "I think that the large settlement blocks must be part of Israel, but talking about very specific blocks is not based on 30% of the logic." 7 to 8% affirmed that in the two previous programs led by other prime ministers in Israel, talk of annexation took place. Of the lands, and today they are talking about 30%, this is a situation that perpetuates the state of non-peace. There may not be war, and I am not among those who threaten and say that if we do so, the Middle East will revolt, but we open the door to international action against us, and another president may arrive in the United States. He does not put on his agenda approval for this step. Commenting on the joining of the Blue and White Party to the right-wing government, Halutz said, "I think that Gantz and Ashkenazi cannot trust many voters. They support the corrupt accused who leads the state." He added, "Unfortunately, the Supreme Court did not rule what I think is appropriate, that he could not take over as Prime Minister. It would have been better for me to run for a fourth election, and try again today, supporting a criminal defendant who sits and leads the state."